Welcome to the R.Y.S.E Movement podcast, a place where men just like you learn to raise your standards everywhere.
All right, the other day we were talking about abuse not being gender specific and that domestic violence happens for men so much more than it's reported, so much more than it's actually followed up on. Now, this one goes for the men. This is what I do. I'm a men's coach. So I want to talk about how your experience with women is your responsibility. I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying that you're deliberately looking for quote unquote crazy women or that your exes are all crazy or any of these sorts of things. What I'm saying is what you see in the outside world is a representation of you. I want you to have a quick hard look at yourself and notice where you modeled your relationships from, where you modeled your ideal female from. Because you don't have a type of woman that you go for, you have a pattern of women that you go for. Are they emotionally unavailable? Are they party girls? Like, what are their attributes? Because that is the pattern that you're looking for. That pattern often comes from our parents. That pattern comes from noticing things in our environment growing up, and we role model them from our parents. I know because my mum, she's emotionally dysregulated. She has a lot of problems with self-worth and she has a lot of issues for herself from her childhood. And the thing is, all of this stuff is intergenerational trauma. All of these things that have been passed down to us comes through 7 generations worth of DNA. It also comes from anything that we've seen, anything that we've heard, anything that we've felt, anything that we might have misinterpreted as well. So if you've got things that you're noticing as patterns from the women that you go for, there's something inside of you that is telling you, go seek this female out. I used to try and seek out the most broken females when I was a youngster. When I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I would only go for broken women, quote unquote broken women. And a lot of the time, they would have daddy issues. Now, I have my own father hang-ups. I've got my own mother hang-ups, as do you guys. If you haven't spent a lot of time learning about your unconscious, learning about associations, learning about role modeling and all these different things, how are you meant to know what you're actually attracted to? Because I can guarantee you the things that you're attracted to, you're not attracted to them consciously. You might see a girl and go, oh, she's cute. You know, she's got this I like, that I like, this I like. However, it's the things that are unconscious that she's not telling you, the behaviors that are happening below the surface that you're actually attracted to. How mind-blowing is that? When you truly think about what we actually attract in one another is what we're not saying. 93% of communication is miscommunication. It comes from the non-verbal stuff, whether that's body language, whether that's what they say in the tempo they say it, the volume or anything like that. These are the things that you need to keep an eye out for because they're the things that are happening unconsciously. Just because we make noises out of our face doesn't mean that's what we're actually saying. Something to think about. Which brings me on to my next point. You can't leave a prison you don't know that you're in. All of these unconscious patterns and behaviors, traits, emotions, all these things that are happening behind the scenes, but under the surface. If you aren't aware of these things, how are you meant to change them? If you're sick of getting the same results that you always get, same relationships, the same paycheck, the same fucking everything, how are you meant to change if you have no idea? You can't. You can't change something until you shine light on it. Right now, I've got a light focusing on me right now, and it's casting a big shadow behind me. That is the same for us. Human beings have a shadow side. They have an unconscious side. They have things that happen behind the surface that is outside of our awareness. And the purpose of it is to try and protect us. That's majority of what our life is about. It's about protecting ourselves. The purpose for having memories is so that we can learn from the experiences of the past, integrate the lessons, and then not ever make that mistake ever in the future. If you have some emotional baggage or you got some trauma or something going on in your past and you can bring up a memory that still has an emotional charge to it, that still has some pain to it, then you haven't fully learned the lesson. It's up to you to be able to go through those memories, go through the shadows, and to be able to uproot any lessons that you haven't learned yet. There's a great saying by one of my favorite authors and philosophers and the greatest minds of the 20th century, Carl Jung. It said, no tree can reach to heaven if its roots don't reach to hell. You can't achieve, euphoria and enlightenment, joy, happiness, and all the great things if you haven't touched darkness. Specifically, if you haven't touched your own darkness. If you haven't gone wading through your emotions, if you haven't gone wading through your negative experiences, negative emotions, negative memories, there's gold to be found in there. There's another great saying from Carl Jung. That which you seek is where you least want to look. All of the things that are holding you back, all of the baggage, the trauma, the pain, any abuse that you found, the patterns, the behaviors, all of this is found by doing the work. And it doesn't have to be daunting, it doesn't have to be scary, it doesn't have to be woo-woo either. It can be really factual. Simply get out a pen and a pad, write down a question. What's the big question that I've got on my mind right now? Why am I so unhappy? Whatever the answer is, ask why. Whatever the answer is, ask why. And continue that for 5 more times so you can find the root cause. All of a sudden, you'll have this pure gold nugget that you can do something with. Whatever it is, that's 5 layers down into the root cause. Whenever you find that thing, then all of a sudden you have this gold and you can go, okay, I now know what I need to look at. It's because I'm unworthy. I feel like I'm unworthy. I'm unloved. I'm a failure. Whatever the thing is that you come up with, you can then address it and start reframing it, start transforming it into something that's positive and empowering. It all starts in here. If you don't have a solid mindset setting you up for success in the future, how the fuck are you meant to get by? So the good news is you can literally transform from whatever you've gone through. I wouldn't be the man that I am today, helping all of the men that I get to, if I hadn't have gone through everything that I did. All of the pain, the abuse, the counseling and therapy and all these other different modalities that I've been through, deliberately shining the light of my consciousness, of my awareness into my shadow, into my emotions, into my negative memories of the past, so that I can uproot the lessons, so that I can integrate the lessons. Hell, I've got books and books and books of journals and contemplations to be able to help men just like you. So it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be done with a therapist. You can do a lot of this stuff by yourself. A lot of the healing work that I've done myself just came from asking better questions so that I can provide my own better answers, and you can too. If you want a bit of help, please message me. I'd love to help you. I'd love to give you some resources and start you off on your own journey of introspection and healing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for subscribing and leaving a review. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care and much love.